Guys, it has been a long time since I've uploaded a video onto this YouTube channel. But with that said, I'm going to get straight to the point of this video, which is about the slack pull and how to do it effectively. So with that said, let's get started. There's multiple ways to pull the slack out of the bar, but this is what I've personally found to be the most effective. I'm going to show you guys all of my warm-ups leading up to a top single. That way you guys can get a closer look at the style that I use to pull the slack. Make sure you take a close look at all these singles and pay attention to how I use the weight as a counterbalance against itself. I'm literally trying to lift some of the weight up off the ground while maintaining some tension in my shoulders and my upper back as I drive my hips up. Then I push my legs into the ground as the weight comes up and I lean back to lock it out. It's a simple concept, but it definitely takes some practice in order to get it down right. In fact, I'm going to break it down step by step with the actual footage of when Brendan Teets showed me how to do it. So the first step is to actively try to pull the weight up off the ground. Now as the bar bends, you'll feel a tension in your shoulders and upper back once the bar reaches a point where it can't bend anymore. That tension that you feel at the top is what you want to maintain. You don't want to drop your shoulders at this point because then you've lost the slack. Now on this next step, you'll notice that my hips are already in a high position. That's because I was shooting my hips up as I was pulling the slack. The hip shoot helps reinforce leg drive when you deadlift instead of relying solely on your back to muscle the weight up. You just drive your hips up to get some momentum, then you push the floor away with your feet as you pull the weight up off the ground. But doing it as one fluid motion takes some finesse because you have to make sure you pull enough slack as you hip shoot, that way you can wedge yourself more efficiently. And even with heavy sets, if you slack pull well enough, you can rely so much more on wedging and using your legs to complete the lift. Think about that scene in Dragon Ball Z where Gohan pulls the sword from out of the rock. That visual representation of how he pushes the ground away as he pulls the sword out is the exact way you want to deadlift after you've pulled the slack. So let's go over this again one last time. You're going to pull with the intent of trying to lift the weight up off the ground as you drive your hips up in the air. Once you actually feel that the bar can't bend anymore, you'll maintain that tension in your shoulders and your upper back without dropping them as you quickly wedge yourself down into the start position where you'll push the ground away with your feet as you're pulling the weight up off the ground. Then you'll lean back and squeeze your glutes up at the top to lock out the weight. And that's pretty much it, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for the next one.